Number one, passion and skill. You gotta wanna do this as a job, or you gotta wanna do it as a hobby or be an enthusiast. You gotta have that passion for it. You gotta enjoy cleaning cars, because I don't like cleaning houses, but I really love cleaning cars. So you've gotta have that want and desire. If you're a 16-year-old kid, if you're a 14-year-old kid, if you're a 35-year-old man, if you're a 45 or 50-year-old man or woman, you've gotta enjoy washing a car. You've gotta find that love of that. And you've got to be able to harness that and do that and continue to do that and not get burned out or tired or frustrated or stressed out by it. So that is the number one thing you have to have. I know you had that.
Yep. Well, if you're passionate, you should be able to love your work as well. So I see it as you're an artist, you're performing some artwork.
Exactly.
You're working with your hands, and the end result, it's not only for the customer, but for you as well. I know that, and probably you guys, it's the same thing. When I'm done detailing a car, I'll go over it myself because I treat it the way I treat my own cars. So I want to make sure that the customer is super happy. So I'll do the walk around myself and make sure I look at all different angles, make sure I've covered everything, and I have to be wowed by the results as well.
Yeah, we knocked out number one.
Bam!
Wait. Yeah! Number two, we're gonna talk efficiency in your passion. Now, don't let efficiency overpower the quality. You wanna have a good balance of the two. You wanna be efficient at what you do, but you still wanna put out good quality. Now, there's lots of people out there who are great and so passionate about detailing, but they'll spend 10 hours polishing one fender on a car, right? You can't do that when it's starting to be a successful detailer. You have to do this in a timely fashion.
You gotta be able to get paid for it.
You have to get paid for it, and you may not be getting paid for 10 hours polishing a fender. Just saying, guys. I don't mean to burst your bubble, but it's not how it works.
Could it be too that you're controlling your customers' expectations? So of course, if they want to pay for museum or showroom quality paint job, well, yes, you can offer that, but there's a cost to that, right? So if you can get the paint to 80 or 85% correction, and the majority of the swirls or the scratches, for example, are gone, and the paint looks good to 99% of the people out there, and you're at a lower price, so you're not cutting corners, you're not cheaping out, you controlled your customers and you managed their expectations, you were efficient, you did it more quickly than if you'd spend countless hours polishing to perfection. You didn't cheap out, you still used quality products, you came to the result that both of you agreed on, and everyone's happy. So in the end, I think it's communicating with your customer and making sure that you understand their needs and they also understand what type of work you're going to be performing.
Put it this way, you don't want to spend too many hours on a car that you're getting paid for, because what'll happen is it might be just easier for you to go work at a burger joint and flip some burgers, because you might end up making more money than you will doing that, because you're taking too long and you're actually wasting the amount of money that you could be potentially making.
Keep that in mind, guys. I think that's a good point, and I think we were all guilty of this.
And a lot of guys fall for that. But the goal is, how do I make the right amount of money, not only for myself, for my family, for my employees, but also be able to provide that level of customer service for your customer that they are happy and they are going to keep coming back and they're going to keep referring you. So you've got to find that balance and make sure that they understand, like Pan says, that customer expectation of what they want and how you can do it the fastest, easiest way, but also the best way.
Number three, networking. So what is networking? Essentially, well, we've all started off by detailing our friends or our family's cars. And that's totally normal because you're building your experience, you're building the trust factor, and you'll get that word of mouth thing going where people will be watching your results and giving you recommendations. But how do you build from there? Well, today we're lucky because we have social media. So you can open Facebook, Instagram, Twitter accounts, Snapchat, regardless. Get your work out there and get people talking. So that's the way you can build a network of people that are happy and satisfied. Maybe you can have a customer leave a comment on one of their posts, on one of your posts on your, whether it's a YouTube channel or Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, as we said, and see how satisfied they were. Drop a comment over there and basically get your networking skills going, because we have tools today that we didn't have 15 to 20 years ago. We literally were knocking on doors and talking in person to another individual. But today, social media can help you. The internet can help you. Maybe you can build a website, right? To propose
and one
your
of
services.
the easiest ways is talk to your customer and find out if you can take a picture of their vehicle, you can tag their vehicle, and you can tag them personally and post it on their Facebook page.
Absolutely.
So that their friends and family can see the work that you did, and then they will go, ooh, I need to get a detail
From this guy,
So-and-so got a great job done on their car. What's that person's
They can
number
tag you
so
in your
I can do it?
services.
Yep.
And it happens.
And that way it can come back.
It spreads like wildfire at that
Oh,
point too, and you'd be surprised on how many customers that will come knocking at your door, or I guess through your messages, saying, hey, I want to get my car detailed as well. And so you guys have it made nowadays. I mean, basically building a business is easier than ever thanks to social media. It's really amazing what you can do in a small amount of time. So networking, very important.
Yep. It's, like we said, starts out easy. Friends and family.
Yep.
Number 4, education. Just because maybe you're done with high school, maybe just because you're done with college, doesn't mean to stop educating yourself or your customers on detailing. For yourself, you need to learn and keep learning. Learn new tips, new tricks, new processes, learn about new chemicals, learn about the latest techniques, learn about the best microfibers. Keep learning your craft, keep honing your craft. And then on top of that, educate your customers. Educate them on what you're doing, what types of products you're using, what type of techniques you're doing for their vehicle. This will help your customer not only be more educated and learn what you're actually doing, what they're paying you for, but it'll also allow them to maybe do some research and go right back to referencing you for other services to their friends, their family, because then go, man, this guy used this type of wax or this sealant or this ceramic coating on my car. Look how beautiful it looks. Look at, this is what it does. They become salesmen or salespeople for you and your company.
Yeah, and educating, basically, that's not always giving away all of your secrets. A lot of people think that educating your customers is a bad thing, like you're telling them everything that you're doing and they're just gonna go run off and do it themselves. That's not true at all, because remember, you're the professional. You're the one that's been doing this. You have that background, that education, the things
secret
you've learned
sauce
over the years, right? They can't just go jump out on their car and go take a polisher for the first time and get the same results that you would get if you're a professional. It just makes sense. So remember, educating is not a bad thing. You know, it's telling them what they're doing and basically what you're doing and what they're paying you for.
And also, I'd say stay ahead of the curve, guys. When Levi was saying the education is continuous. So what we used to do 5 to 10 years ago with products, techniques, and equipment, everything has changed. Things evolve. So you want to stay up to date. And today you have easy access to YouTube videos, for example. So that's a great way. We have professionals on YouTube who explain the way they do things. You have many tutorials, a bunch of companies that present and explain their products. So those are a good way to begin. Back in the day, we only used to have car forums and you had to write and type up stuff, and it'd take a lot more time, but there's always a way that you can improve and keep on learning and staying up to date.
And another way to do it, sign up as an IDA member, the International Detailing Association, the-IDA.com, and that will help you make connections with other fellow detailers, top guys in the industry, as well as manufacturers, so that you can truly become your best self and become a professional detailer. That will help benefit you, your customers, and your family.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's education.
Number 5, professionalism. So guys, it's not because you're washing or detailing cars that you're not professional. So it's very important, the way you dress, the way you look, the way you talk. Be courteous, be professional. If you're a mobile detailer, make sure that you're on time. Never leave a mess behind you, or especially not in your customer's car, because don't forget, their car is usually a prized possession for them. So it's usually the second most expensive purchase or lease after a home. So for many people, this is quite the thing to come and see you and have trust in you for you to detail their cars. So make sure you look the part, make sure you talk and you walk the way in a super professional way. Another way you can differentiate yourselves from your competitors is give that added touch. So sometimes it's by over-delivering on a certain aspect. For example, on glass, you can maybe spray a quick wax to give that added gloss or that added beading. Or also you can leave, like I used to do, or some of these guys used to do as well, is maybe a list of the steps and the products that you used on the vehicle with your business card staple on it. So that looks good. And the customer, when they come back home, so they've been overwhelmed, they saw the results with you, you did the walk around, and it was a lot to take in. But when they come back home, they have time to decant all that info and to look at it and say, hey, listen, talk to their friends, look at what this guy did on my car, look at what the products he used. So I think that's pretty cool.
Well, and I always go back to brush your teeth, comb your hair, wash your face, and smell good.
This guy has had employees working for him in a shop
things
there.
that you can do. I was telling the story, I had employees that would walk outside to meet a customer, and the first thing they do is light a cigarette. And I told them, don't do that. I don't want you greeting a customer with a cigarette in your mouth. I don't care that you smoke, and I don't care if maybe the customer also got out of their car, pulled out a cigarette and lit it. I don't have control over the customer and what they do, but I do have control over what I expect from my employees.
Yeah.
And that was the #1 thing. I don't want you outside smoking while you're walking around inspecting their vehicle, finding out or trying to sell the detail. I want you to have that air of professionalism. I want you to smell good. I want you to have fresh breath. I want you to look clean and respected so that they can trust us. They feel good.
Exactly.
What you don't want is you walking in looking dirty, looking shabby, holes in your shirt, holes in your jeans. Yes, you're gonna get dirty, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to look the part. My guys always wore black. Yes, it may be a little hotter, but black shirts, black shorts, they're not gonna show the dirt as if you had like a white t-shirt or a light gray t-shirt. So making
I also
yourself
wear
look
black.
a little cleaner so that when you talk, you speak to customers, you're presentable to yourself so that they feel comfortable leaving their car with you. Because like you said, it's an expensive item.
Yep.
And they are putting their trust in you that you're gonna be okay with it. And if you're walking out, you're smoking a cigarette, you're looking at it, you're like, yeah, we could do this. You swear a lot in front of them. They're gonna be like, I don't know, this guy's got really bad breath. He looks like he crawled out of a garbage can. I don't really know if I wanna leave my car with him.
First impressions, guys, you gotta manage those. It's very important. Same thing for you. When you go in a different business, regardless of what businesses you're coming into, you're looking at the people, and you automatically, like anybody else, we're all human, you are gonna have an opinion right away, right off the bat, about the person that's in front of you. So the same thing applies to detailers. Be professional.
Yep, and like Pan said, you're human, right? So when you're human, it's much better to tell the truth than to tell a lie. So if anything happens during the detail process, anything happens during the job, right? Always be upfront, be honest. If you're running late, let them know. That's professionalism. Don't lie and make up excuses. Just be open and transparent, and that goes a long way.
A very long way.
By the way, guys, if you want to geek more about this, how to start your own detailing business, I have a 2-part video series on my own channel. So once again, I'm sure the Rag Company, they're going to link that video up here and also include the link to those videos in the description under the video. But yeah, go ahead, watch them, and anybody can do it. It's a thing of passion. So we covered professionalism. We covered things that can differentiate you from everybody else. Make sure you enjoy, stay up to date and educated on this whole business, and go out there and, enjoy detailing like we all do.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap up our 5 tips for starting a successful detailing business. Now, if you guys haven't checked out Pan's channel, make sure you check out his channel and all of his detailing related content, as it's great and extremely informative. If you guys like this video, make sure to give us a thumbs up. You guys can subscribe for more. And as usual, stay tuned for more videos, more detailing related content